Hello and welcome to Urban Dwell Dialogues, the podcast for everything real estate. And I'm your host, Ebiribi. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about something that is burning in the heart of every resident in the FCT, in the heart of real estate investor, FCT resident, and it's the mighty C of O, Certificate of Occupancy. And here with me on set is Mr. Emmanuel, a seasoned expert in this field, and he'll be sharing more about this. Welcome, Mr. Emmanuel.
Thank you for having me this afternoon.
It's a pleasure. So I'd like you to introduce yourself.
Okay. My name's Town Planner Gaji Emmanuel Mute. I'm a urban and regional planning professional. I'm a town planner. I work with the Department of Urban and Regional Planning. Currently, I'm the FCT Nigerian Institute of Town Planning, FCT chapter PRS, Public Relations Secretary. And the very day you approached me about this very topic, it was an interesting one. And I know it's something that's been born in the heart of the people of the FCT, the residents, and every house dweller. So I'm glad to be here, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, dear viewers, we have an expert here. I would encourage you to pull out your notepads because we're set for a very interesting and educative time. Okay, Mr. Emmanuel, I would like you to throw more light on the C of O, Certificate of Occupancy, what it is, and the processes to obtain one.
Okay. Once more, thanks for having me. The Certificate of Occupancy, popularly known as a C of O, is a document that gives legal ownership to a piece of land, big, small, no matter the size, for you to be illegally owners of every land within the FCT. You must, and you definitely have a C of O. It's a document that it's at the tail end of your ownership of land. I think it will start from the point of application. For you to be able to, you need to have a land first allocated by the Federal Capital Territory Administration. The process starts from when, and it's open for every Nigerian. It's not a selective process. It's open to every Nigerian. Every Nigerian has the right to own a land in the Federal Capital Territory. So it starts from the point of having to open an application file with the Department of Land Administration, which is saddled in Abuja Geographic Information System, number 4 Peace Drive. You pick an application form. You pay a non-refundable payment of 100,000 naira for private allocation from a designated bank. Currently, we've digitized it right now. You pay via remitter. You present your remitter and your receipts, and we'll convert those receipts from remitter back to receipts acceptance from the Department of Land Administration. So once you've been successfully opened a policy file, an acknowledgement will be given to you, and a receipt of that payment you've made will be issued to you. So you have 2 documents at the end of the day. You have an acknowledgement letter.
Okay.
Then you have a receipt issued by the Department of Land Administration. So you have 2 documents. After that, you apply to the department, to the director. You're applying through the minister or to the director of Land Administration, asking him for, applying to be given part of the FCT land for whatever purpose you're applying for. Is it for residential? Is it for commercial? The residential is of 3 densities. You have the low density residential, you have the medium density residential, and you have the high density residential. So there are different categories. I think while we move further, I would break down these densities. But we have the residential, the commercial of different categories, different varies in different quarters. You have the recreational, you have
Commercial.
densities. Within the commercial, you have different densities.
Okay.
You have recreational. Within the recreational, you have passive, you have active, you have designated parks.
Okay.
You have, within the green, you have buffers. Those are not meant to be allocated. They are shielding. As the name implies, buffers, they shield residents or activity zone from maybe noise or areas that you want, maybe areas that have transit ways and express. We have the public institution. The public institution are statutorily allocated to the government, MDAs, and ministries. Those public utilities plot and categorized in terms of such as the police stations, the health facilities, different categories of it. You have the fire service, you have the postal offices, and you have after that of the utility, you have after that of the public utility plot, you have utility lines, whereby those are areas designated for water lines, our reservoirs, our tanks, our reservoirs and tanks. You have our electrical cable lines; those are utility points. You have our transformers, and now something that we didn't think about when the city started, we now have telecommunication masts. They were not envisaged in the past, but now they are part of our reality world now.
Okay.
So
you've been able to incorporate them.
We've been able to incorporate them going by standards, setback, proximities to residential and all of that. So those we have, just what I mentioned, those various categories of land use designations are the applicant as an individual has the right to apply for residentials. For other utilities, for other land uses, it's allocated to companies, whereby sometimes the government have this public-private partnership engagement. An individual is not given an hospital plot. An individual is not given a plaza to build. For companies, private persons, private companies that have the financial will to be able to develop them are given those. So there are various categories of those applications. So once you apply and your application scale through and you're deemed fit to be allocated land, you don't buy for it, you allocated lands. Once you allocated this land, you be communicated. You come meet the authority and you have the right to accept or to refuse.
Why? Why would you want to refuse?
And there are people that at the end of the day will be like, would
there be conditions?
No, the conditions are, if you accept, there are conditions tell you that there are processes, there are payments, such as your ground rent, such as your bill, your CFO bills to be paid, your annual ground rent, those are being paid annually. So we're not going to force you and give you the land. If you accept it, there's a form, acceptance form. That will be once you filled and you accept, you submit means of identifications. It will be uploaded in your policy file. So when the allocation is given, you're given an offer, a right of occupancy. A right of occupancy is an offer that is given to you at the point of accepting that land from the government. If you accept, the government gives you. When you're given, that is when you start automatically, just like the ground rent is being paid annually, you start processing for your CFO. So for every area within the FCT, there's a certain parameters where this land area, the space that's given to you is being calculated per square meter. So when your area that has been allocated to you has been calculated to you per square meter, that is being communicated to the payment you'll be given for your CFO. So you can have your RFO and still apply for development approval to develop that land according to the land use designation that's given. With time, it's expected that you pay for your CFO. The good thing about what the government does is it's not being rigid to everyone. The government gives you an opportunity to pay instrumental. So let's say your CFO is 10 million. Let's say the land has been allocated to you is 10 million.
10 million.
Today you have 3 million to pay, you pay. It reflects on your account that 3 million has been paid for CFO. But after short time, long time. It's expected you have a timing.
Yes.
You have a duration. So if you break it in maybe 3 installments, 4 million, you have a 10 million. So once you've been able
Payment
to pay,
has been made,
full payment has been made, you'll be
issued the certificate.
The certificate will be printed and communicated to the Honorable Minister of the FCT.
Oh.
Now, one very dicey and trickiest thing that happened in the FCT is the Minister of the FCT, the Honorable Minister of the FCT, is the only person by law, by right, that has the authority to sign for your CFO. There is no chief, there is no head of ward, there is nobody. That right has been given only to the Honorable Minister of the FCT. So your CFO will be signed by the Honorable Minister of the FCT and you'll be issued. So just as the trend of the process started, you started by picking a form, filling a form, accepting it, after deemed fit that everything that you as a Nigerian has been able to submit and forward to the authority is deemed fit. You're given an RFO. From the RFO, you move to the CFO. The CFO is like the peak of your legal.
That's like the highest document for land ownership.
By law, you've been given that. So another sensitive part is for residentials. If you're given a CFO, you have 99 years
to pay ground rent.
The government has the right after 99 years, has got tariffs to still collect back that land that's been given to you.
Well,
for commercial land and for recreational land, you have 60 years ownership.
Okay. So after that period of time, the land is revoked.
You have to go back to the government.
Okay, to make another payment.
To do more like a recertification. The timing, the duration that has been given
has elapsed
99 years.
Okay.
99 years. So I actually have no opinion.
How many people will get to live up to 99 years?
And before you be given, you must be an adult. Before you are allocated a land in the FCT, you must be an adult, 18 and above.
Okay.
So once you become 18, you have the right to apply to own a land in the FCT.
Okay. Okay. You've thrown my thoughts in several directions now. But before I take the other, you mentioned some other types of certificates, and I would like you to explain and throw more light on them. You talked about the RFO, and then there's another one, I think is the letter of intent.
Okay.
So I'd like you to explain the different, and then at what point in land ownership the person is issued that.
Okay. Letter of intent in its own, by the policy within the FCT.
Yeah.
Letter of intent is not given to an individual.
Okay.
Letter of intent is given to a conglomerate of companies and companies that have the financial well-to-do. And that started during the administration of the Minister of the FCT, Madam Nasir El-Rufai, when the demand for housing in the FCT skyrocketed, and he, in the wisdom of the Department of Urban Regional Planning, brought up a policy of mass housing. The minister approved. So mass housing developers during the 2003 to 2007 regime of the Honorable Minister of FCT brought about the issue of letter of intent. Letter of intent comes with conditions. One, you must have the financial well-to-do. You have a timing. You're not giving that land to keep for racketeering or for it to...
For land banking.
For it to have a certain value. So as you're given, before you be given, all those checks will be done to you. The government will do its own due diligence on those companies. And if you're being selected and seen that you're capable of developing so the government has a role to play in its own side. You, the developer, has a role to play. That person, that company that will be given, that estate developer or that company in terms of maybe dealing in terms of housing will be given. So the letter of intent, it still has to do with during the time of allocation, during the accelerated and development allocations. It's different. It's totally different from an RFO.
Okay.
And it's not a CFO. So a letter of intent is given to companies to be able to provide affordable housing for the teeming population of the FCT.
Okay.
Because those mass housing districts were individual plots that were collapsed to form chunks of large plots.
Yes.
So that these companies, this group of companies that have the financial well-to-do and the ability and the manpower and expertise to develop, to be able to produce
Houses.
and construct houses within a stipulated time. Because when the FCT became a reality, we started having massive urban migration.
Yes.
So the scope and the forecasted population growth skyrocket. And definitely by the time you have people coming into the city, demand for housing becomes part of the major concern. So in the wisdom of the Honorable Minister then, now brought about areas like Lokogoma, Apo, Ombora, and Galadima, and the rest, where we have major estate development. So those are in the wisdom of the government to be able to give those letters. Now, when you're giving those letter of intent, they give you the right to be able to approach the government to
state your intentions.
Your intentions are clear. Yeah. Your intentions to be stated before you're giving those rights, the letters of intent, or letters of accelerated development. Those are like giving you temporary power to be able to approach the government.
Okay.
Not literally temporary, is giving you the right to be able to approach the government, submit your design, first your site development plan to the Department of Urban Regional Planning. When the Department of Urban Regional Planning scrutinize your design, review it. If it's deemed fit for approval, they approve. But most of the times we realize, okay, there are some corrections within your designs. We send it back to you and you submit final copy for approval. When you're given approval, you take that your approval with your building plans to the Department of Development Control, which is located at number 2 Juba Street, Wuse Zone 6. You're given a stipulated time. Your review, your building plans is being reviewed, and then the approval is given. So when you're given approval, you're meant to mobilize the site. So when you mobilize the site, and at the end of the day, let's say your estates become fully developed, subscribers are well-to-do Nigerians in terms of the affordable housing you're providing, have been able to get to subscribe to this estates, as the name as quote from those letters that I'm giving those developers. So currently, just the way your topic actually said, it's a burning issue in the heart of every house owner and intending house owners in the city of Abuja. So the coming of the current administration, in terms of the Honorable Minister of FCT, Barrister Yoson Wike, realize that there are backlogs of CFOs that have not been collected, and backload of allocations have been given. People have their RFOs. People are keeping their land for land banks.
Yes.
Development is not happening. People within the estates want to use their houses, maybe for loans. You cannot take your offers of allocation given by that person that was not having an RFO or a CFO or a letter of intent or an accelerated development document. That takes us back to what is happening currently. That is now rowdy and is now everybody's trying to get his way around. Oh, I'm in this estate. How do I get my CFO? Am I going through the estate association? Am I going to the estate developer? And take us to another topic.
Yes, you've actually carefully navigated me to the next question, because I was going to ask, can individuals residing in an estate, can this application of COO be done individually, or does it have to be through the developer?
Okay. In the first place, the authority does not recognize the individuals in those estates. They don't know them.
Yes.
The authority identifies that very company, that very developer that have been given the right to develop and given the right to allocate within its space. So the authority deals directly with the developer. The part of what has become usual to most people in a particular estate form, maybe a resident association. So those resident association is meant to mobilize its members, work hand in hand with the developer. The developer has certain documents. Now that takes me back to the accelerated development era during the Erufai region. as a result of the rising need of the housing within the city, most estates were not granted approval. They were given this land to develop. Just why I say due to the rising need, they mobilized the site, they developed. It's expected that they give a professional, you have a professional surveyor to have to do with the perimeter of the estate. You're expected to give your site development plan, the estate design, to a professional town planner. He's meant to do a design. So it's expected that if you deal with these two professionals, the estates, the surveyor does the perimeter, the town planner, the professional town planner does the design, the site development plan. Individual plot data is meant to be generated by the surveyor. So people subscribed in the past. Now there is high rising need. People want their documents. So the developer has to do several things. There's a publication right now in the public domain. And I believe at the end of it, I will share one with you to be able to share with people out there also. So because there was no prior approval in the past, what the authority is asking, because we recognize that they were not having prior approval, so the authority is asking the developers to engage a professional surveyor, a professional town planner to do the list of things I will explain to you now. The professional surveyor is meant to do an as-built survey of the general allocated space in terms of its geometry and land and size given to that developer. After doing the perimeter, you're meant to carry out an individual as-built plan in terms of the size of individual plots within that estate, their geometry, individual sizes. So the surveyor does that.
Yes.
The surveyor presents, work hand in hand with the professional town planner. These are being done by consultants. Consultant town planner, consultant surveyor. So they work hand in hand. Once the surveyor is done with capturing the as-built, taking cognizance of the houses, the road network, other facilities, utilities in terms of water, tank area, reservoirs, transformers, other public, if you have other uses, it's going to capture every development within that space. So the town planner receives the documents that the surveyor has been able to prepare. The surveyor, after his on the spot assessment of carrying out his as-built survey, his as-built survey is taken to the Department of Survey and Mapping, FCD, Federal Capital Development Authority. He takes part of this design to the Surveyors Registration Council, SUCON. Plot numbers are generated for those individual.
Yeah.
So if an estate has 100 subscribers, individual plot numbers will be allocated to those 100 subscribers, residents within that estate. That data, in terms of numbers, in terms of geometry, the surveyor prepares a individual site plan showing the geometry size of individual units in the estate. That process, at the end of it, he gives it to the professional town planner, the consultant, to prepare an as-built. She kept hearing me saying as-built because it has been built.
Yes.
People are residing. To prepare an as-built site development plan. It's an as-built site development plan. At the end of it, the developer submits it to the Department of Urban and Regional Planning for scrutiny and for approval. Now you see, we have the surveyor, we have the town planner. So the Department of Urban and Regional Planning, situated in the Department of in Block C, just by the left-hand side of the Minister's Block, number 1, Capital Street in Area 11 Garki, has that statutory responsibility to give an approval to that site development plan. Where corrections are meant to be mitigated, they will communicate to the developer to make those corrections in hand with the consultant town planner and the consultant surveyor to be able to amend where applicable, where necessary. So when approval is given by the Department of Urban Regional Planning, that same document that has been approved, that plan that has been approved, the site development plan, the developer takes it to the Department of Development Control. The Department of Development Control receives that, documents that, even though the department has less work to do, not much because now it's as built, but they document it at the end of the day. And they'll be granted approval also. So survey, URP, development control. So at the end of getting an approval, one, the consultant surveyor, second, the Department of Urban Regional Planning, third, Department of Development Control. It's expected that the developer also approach the Department of Mass Housing. If you have, so since you have 100 units, 100 subscribers, you'll be given 100 forms, and those forms cost 100,000 each to every individual subscribers to fill information. And let's say situations where you have 70 persons
in the estate,
in an estate, and the remaining 30 is yet to be developed, or the remaining 30 have not been able to fill their forms.
Yes.
Those forms that have been filled, and I believe payment within those, the developer works hand in hand with the estate resident association to provide certain token amount that will be paid to the surveyor, the town planner, and the building plan approval bill charges. So there are payments that will be done to these three departments.
Okay, so these payments, are they done by the developer or the occupants?
The occupants.
Will make
the developer communicates those payments, those charges to the occupants. That of the survey, that of the URP, and that of the approval that comes from the Department of Development Control.
Okay.
So those charges, let's say at the end of the day, let's say 500,000 is going to be paid by individual household. So the estate association, working hand in hand with the developer, mobilize those funds.
Okay. Okay. So does it mean there's no fixed amount? The developer can ask you to pay whatever to his.
Yes.
You can ask you to pay whatever.
There are fixed amounts, and I'll break down where the fixed amount comes. I know, yes, several persons have come to the office to complain that maybe within their own estate, they're asking them to pay $1 million plus.
Exactly.
Some people there. Then you hear your next friend staying in an estate paying 500 or less. Or so those prices differs in according to the developers bargaining right sometimes with those professionals.
So there's no regulation. The developer can ask you to pay whatever.
No, like the developer works. That's why I said the developer works hand in hand with the association. But some developers have a way of, with all due respect, maybe asking for more. I don't want to use the word extortion, but asking for more from residents.
Okay.
The surveying fee is fixed. The form you're filling has a fixed price. The professional town planner has a fixed professional charges he gives. So when that is okay, differences come now. A particular developer has 2 hectares he's working on. Another developer has 10 hectares that he has developed. The size of the land does not really speak about how much they pay. If you have 2 hectares, that means you have a certain number of, you will not be compared to someone that has 10 hectares. So your subscribers differ. So, but it's not in our own place in a way, the authority. I know so many people have been coming to complain, oh, this estate is charging A, B, and C, that estate is charging A, B. I think that's why they have an association. The association should be able to relate with all other estates have been able to work closely with their own developer and work with. So some persons have this way of not making their own findings, and they just come back to complain.
Okay.
But I feel it's an opportunity for developers to actually work closely and be fair in their judgment and their charges.
Okay.